to eat. Dallas Neal is in town. Al Wilson, one of the new inductees from Montana State, British Columbia Lions, CFL, will be inducted as well. Colt Anderson, Mike Person, Lynn Aarons, Alan Reynolds, and Sonny Holland, along with Dan Rambo. So a lot of the Hall of Famers come back. Robert Dorr from last year is flying in tonight, and looking forward to catching up with him this week as well. He will be speaking at the Mental Health Symposium. This is, by the way, the walk-up, and it is brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry with 3 distinct divisions, so you can create the log home of your dreams and your budget. Milled, handcrafted, and timber frame. Make sure you check them out, yourcustomlog.com, to get started today. They have over 15 different floor plans, or you can go in with one of your own, and they'll work with you. Montana Custom Log Homes. Al Wilson, just to our left, he has just got in from Canada, him and his wife, and they waiting for the room to check in, but Al is resting his eyes as we speak. Well, he woke up now. Going to have a great weekend. I absolutely love this weekend. By the way, coming up, we're going to check in with Alex Eshelman. Caught up with her yesterday before she flew into Billings tonight, and we'll talk to Alex about coming back for the red carpet event, which will be about 4:45 to 5:45 or so on Saturday night. Jason Walker Show channels, jasonwalkershow.com, also YouTube, Facebook, and the Twitter as well. So let's see here. So Alex is going to join us. We got the walk up on this day in history, or walk off on this day in history, and much more all coming up. Let's see here. We share this. Boom. Waiting to see here if we can. We've got computers going. We've got everything going here at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. Induction weekend. And it's so much fun. And, I'll talk with Alex about this, but last year, some of the best times for me was actually just sitting and listening to the stories. Steve Okanowski, Jan Stenerud, a couple others just sitting around telling stories from their playing days, and it's fun. It is an absolute blast. Before we get really started, we do want to thank the Billings Hotel and Convention Center and the entire staff. Got here, table was set up, everything was set up ready to go for us when we arrived. So appreciate that. Let's see here. So we mentioned the Mental Health Symposium is something new we're doing with the Montana Football Hall of Fame this year, and it's very important. And tickets, registration is available still. If you are coming, you're supposed to get a hold of them by yesterday, but begins at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you have not yet got a hold of Rick Halmis, you need to, 406-208-8142. Dane Fletcher will speak. Tuff Harris will speak. Jim O'Day, Danny Dessen, Lady Grizz basketball player, former Lady Grizz Malia Kipp, Lucas Swenson, who just graduated, will speak on how others should treat each other and communicate on a teenage level. Robert Dorr will be here as well, as we mentioned, and it is absolutely important that we talk about mental health. I saw today a baseball player went on the reserve list because of mental health. So it is very important, and it's something that we found out last year with a couple of our inductees that were talking about their own struggles with mental health. So tomorrow or Saturday, the symposium from 10 to 2 at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. Get your RSVP in as soon as possible. There'll be lunch. Jerry Gerard from MSUB will teach QPR training, question, persuade, and refer. And that all has to do with mental health. Let's see here. Swenson has a pretty unique story as well, relates to his peer groups at that teenage level. Darla Tyler McSherry from MSUB will moderate a panel as well. And lots of great things are going to come of this. There are also still tickets available for the banquet Saturday night, beginning at 6 o'clock. And you need to go to Universal Athletics, any Universal Athletics store, stop by, and you can get your tickets for the banquet. Tickets are available for that. And also, it's just great. Fantastic dinner. Get your tickets online, mtfootballhof.com or any Universal Athletics store. Got the golf tournament tomorrow at Pryor Creek. Looking forward to that. Hopefully the rain holds off. Supposed to get some rain about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Thunder showers. Hopefully we get the full 18 in. And I'm excited. I get to golf with Jan Stenerud. And super awesome. Super, super fun. So looking forward to catching up with him on the golf course. Saw him earlier today as he checked in here at the hotel. And, man, he still looks like he could kick. And play in the NFL. He's just a great, great dude. So let's see. Let's take a break. We'll come back. When we return, we are going to check in with Alex Eshelman. Caught up with her yesterday. She flies into Billings tonight from her new job at the Big Sky Conference, the director of broadcast and digital media. Super proud of her. And she's going to be part of the red carpet event with us here on the Jason Walker Show on Saturday night. Before the banquet. Cannot wait to see Alex. But when we return, we'll check in with her. Taped it yesterday in some of her limited free time she has. So we'll check in with her coming up. The walk-up brought to you by Montana Custom Log Homes. We have more surprises on the way, too, potentially. So veteran-owned, family-owned, woman-owned, and operated, Montana Custom Log Homes will create the log home of your dreams and your budget. 50 years experience, the finest craftsmen available in the state, and I say in the West, and they build some unbelievable homes from 700 square feet cabins to 30,000 square foot, whatever you need, they'll get it done. Get a hold of Montana Custom Log Homes at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Alex Eshelman will join us here on The Jason Walker Show.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark LaRoe Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklaroephotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklaroephotography.com.
I'm Bobby Houck, head football coach of the Montana Grizzlies. And this summer at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame, we're doing more than celebrating Montana's best. On Saturday, June 24th at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center, there will be a Speak Up Student Athlete Mental Health Symposium from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Prominent figures throughout Montana, such as Jim O'Day and Tommy Malott, will offer discussion and collaboration on how to better the mental health of our student athletes. After 3 Hall of Famers spoke about their own mental health last year, it's become apparent that we prioritize this topic at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. Please join us on Saturday, June 24th, and for more information, go to the website mtfootballhof.com.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
summer, a time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little or a lot, your choice, have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients, along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $299. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
This is the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. Hanging out on a Thursday above the cold. Segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena. The off-the-wall advertising man cave on the road in Billings. As we get set for the Montana Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony coming up Saturday night, the big weekend. Golf tomorrow. You've got VIP reception tomorrow night, hosted by Spencer Larson. That's always fun. Get some great stories. And then, of course, the Mental Health Symposium. Speak Up on Saturday from 10 to 2, and then the banquet followed by, or the red carpet followed by the banquet on Saturday night here at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. By the way, make sure you check out Continental Divide Radio. Continental Divide Radio playing the music of your memories. It is fantastic. I got to listen to it literally all the way from Helena to Billings today, and it was very, very good. And not just saying that, but it was actually really good stuff. This year's inductees include Dallas Neal, who may be able to join us coming up here in just a little bit. Also, Sonny Holland, the late Sonny Holland, Al Reynolds, Dan Rambo, Lynn Ahrens, Mike Person, Colt Anderson, and Al Wilson, who has gotten up off his couch. Al, did you wake up a little bit? Come here. Come over here. Come over here. We'll get to Alex Eshelman coming up. But all right, we'll let the man sit down. You got a little cat nap in over there.
Yes, I did.
Drove down from Canada today.
No, I flew down.
Oh, you flew in.
Yeah.
Man, your arms must be tired. I kid. Grab that mic, put a little bit more in front of you.
A little more in front of me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
I don't have any makeup. What am I going to do?
I don't either. It's radio with pictures,
God.
Al.
Radio. Where does this go?
Everywhere. 50
Podcast?
states, 55 countries. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Montana State, CFL, BC Lions, and congratulations on your induction this year into the Montana Football Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I was very honored to be selected.
When you got the word, what were your first thoughts?
Well, I was a little surprised, and I'm going to take a shot at Rick Helms here. He phones me up and says, "You've been selected to the Montana Pro Hall of Fame," and he says, "Will you accept?" And what is this, a hoax or what? Yeah, I'll accept.
But what's it mean? Because it's been a long time since you played in the state of Montana and in the CFL.
Well, that's correct, and I am in some other Hall of Fames up in Canada, and I'm in the Montana State Hall of Fame. But this, I never even knew this existed, and actually, a fraternity brother, Sam McCullum's in there, and Big Bill Kohler's in there, and Stenerud left just before I got here. So I'm quite honored to be selected in that group of people.
Well, Jan actually was here. He was in his room.
And he got his room.
I'm got
still
his
waiting.
room. You're still waiting. You were over there sleeping.
Yep.
Jan walked by.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they went to get something to eat. So.
Well, I got some food in me too, so I'm okay. I'm all right.
Oh, perfect. Take me back to your playing days at Montana State. What was that like?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell you where I came from. I came from a small town, Duncan, and we had organized football. Started when I was 15, and I joined the team when I was 16. And these were PE teachers. Well, I didn't come from the same American culture of football where everybody starts at 7 and 9 years old, and so you have a background. So when I got to go to Montana State, it was Frank Smith, who was a running back coach here, and he turned out to be a great UBC coach up in Canada. Actually, my scouting report was great hustle and lousy technique, but on that they gave me a full ride, so here I was. But at Montana State, right over here, I was sitting on the couch that I was sleeping on, is Bob Bannon. He and I were the captains of the Cats our senior years. He was defense, I was offense. But we, our freshman year, Dennis Erickson, Paul Schaefer, Walzenbach, all that group had just won the Big Sky Championship, and freshmen couldn't play up at that time, not that we were ready. And then we had 3 of the most miserable years in the history of Montana State, modern losing streak. And the year we leave, they win the Big Sky. Bob and I are still looking at ourselves going, who the hell are we? What happened?
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
But did you beat the Grizz?
There's another sore point, right?
I'm a Bobcat. I was the PA guy for 16 years there.
Okay, yeah, but our senior year, it was and the Grizz were undefeated, and they come to Bozeman and they play us, and we fight them tooth and nail the whole game, but we finally succumb to 7-6, and it was the most heart-wrenching defeat I think I ever experienced at Montana State, because by the time I was a senior at Montana State, I was a true Bobcat, and you knew what this meant, right? Yep. You could lose all year, but if you could beat the Bobcat or the Grizz, you had it made, right? And I came that close.
Oh, Al.
Yeah.
You couldn't get in the end zone, huh?
Well, yeah, we kicked 2 field goals. Frank Kelfoss, I think, kicked them for us. And we had a chance down. We were down close. And I can remember, I still have the film of that game in my archives. And it's still on tape. I hope one day to put it on a disc. But no, we couldn't get in the end zone. Oh. And we had Paul Schaefer, too.
Yeah, that's...
No, not senior year. No, I don't think we had Paul. Did he come back for that 5th year? The brain is a little fuzzy. I can't remember who...
Well,
Hans Padina was in the backfield then.
You put the hat on the defense a few times.
Oh, our defense was on the field all the time. The best player I ever played with is Bob Banna over there, and his nickname was Big Sky because he made it. And I didn't even know I made second team my junior and senior year. Not that it mattered, right? So, but I was still learning the game of football. Like I said, I started when I was 16, came here with not much experience. It was a great place to come because there was a lot of guys from small towns. Mm-hmm. That was a great thing. And I came from, and I fit in culturally, and then I learned to play the game. And I had Joe Tiller. Now, I don't know if people remember Joe Tiller, but he had just been cut by the New England Patriots, and he came back and was coaching at Montana State. And he sort of took me under his wing, and Joe actually loved me, but that's a serious thing when Joe loved you because he pushed you hard. Uh-huh. I mean, really, really hard. And he really actually taught me how to compete in the game and play the game of football, and I've got a lot to thank to him just to learn to play the game because I really didn't know how to play the game when I got here.
We're talking with Al Wilson, 2023 inductee into the Montana Montana Football Hall of Fame. Then you go to back home. You go to the CFL, BC Lions.
My journey, and this is what I'm going to talk about at the banquet, the whole journey, a small kid to Montana State, full ride. I wasn't even thinking about playing pro football, and the Calgary Stampeders were sending me letters to bring me up to training camp. And the BC Lions noticed, who's this Wilson kid? And they said he played his high school football in BC. And then they had territorial rights. They own me.
Oh.
They own me.
Oh.
And I'll tell you a story there. So they said, no, he's ours. He's coming to our training camp. I'll tell you how much interest they had. Zero. They were signing Johnny Musso out of Alabama, Ray Nettles out of Virginia, Ron Este out of LSU, and he was the Outback Trophy Lineman of the Year award. And then they had a big Canadian kid, Willie Postler, out of Washington State. And then there was this little kid from Montana State. Well, I come out, and I've learned to compete in the game now, and I make it, and I'm a backup, and the reporters, there's only 32 people on the roster at that time. And the reporters say, why did you keep this Wilson kid? And he said, you watch. This kid will be an all-star one day. So I have a lot to thank for all the coaches that believed in me long before I was what I would call good. And after a while, I learned how to play the game, and 15 years later, they said, get off the field, boy.
Well, hey, that's not bad. That's not a bad career.
Yeah, it's a great career, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I enjoyed playing the game. It gave me a good living, the experiences, the friendships, and all the accolades that come your way after. You never play the game thinking, I'm going to the Hall of Fame. You play in the game trying to make the team and try to win the game. That's what football's all about.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So,
For sure. Idols growing up. Because you didn't really know football.
I didn't really know football. I had no idea. I'll tell you a story. When I was in the 8th grade, the Grey Cup was being played in Vancouver, and our teacher got us tickets to the game. And we went and watched Saskatchewan Roughriders play the Ottawa Roughriders, and Saskatchewan won. I made the mistake. I'm standing, and I'm going up to the Ottawa Roughriders looking for autographs. Well, they are in no mood to sign some kid's autograph. That's how much I knew about football. You don't talk to somebody after they lose the Super Bowl. They don't want to talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You were probably a hockey fan from Canada, right?
Yes. Yeah, we followed the Canucks and everything, and I enjoy hockey, but I'm more of a football fan totally. But, yeah, we're bred on hockey. I mean, that's our big thing. I mean, we're labeled it. It's just like all Montanans are cowboys, right?
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
There are more cows than people in the state of Montana.
True.
Yes,
I believe that.
Yes. Is it Calgary or Calgary?
Gee, that's a good thing. Calgary or Calgary?
Because I've heard both ways.
You know, it's. I guess you have to be from there to whether you say it whatever way. Calgary. I say Calgary.
Calgary. Okay.
Calgary.
I got in trouble at a radio station one time for saying Calgary.
Yeah, they probably don't like the emphasis on the syllables, right? They just slurred into one.
They're like, it's Calgary. And I'm like,
I'm from Montana.
Al Wilson here. We added something new this year, the Mental Health Symposium. How big is that for youth and moving forward? Because last year, Dane Fletcher talked about it, Robert Dorr talked about it, a couple others. You forget these pro athletes still deal with the same struggles that normal people do.
And I was very interested when I saw that on the program. I even considered I might sit down and watch it. I was talking to Tara, who drove us in from the airport, and I actually asked her about that. And, I played with a number of players that have donated their brains, and they have passed away, and their brains went for the CTE. And it's, one of the biggest things if you're successful, and you think about this. You're very successful, you make a good living, and in the NFL, a lot of guys make a lot of money. Doesn't mean they keep it, but, and that's the problem. And all the adulation that you get, and you're this person. And I was 37 when I retired. 37 is a young man, right? You got a lot of life to deal with. And I actually believe the more successful you are, the more you have to learn to deal with your mental health situation. Get your feet on the ground, get yourself stationary, settled. Who am I? I'm not a football player. I'm a person.
Right.
And it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. Mentally, injury-wise to the brains and everything else, it's time they address that. If I showed you my original helmet that I wore for, oh my God. I do. I have my original helmet, and I have the helmet that I won the Grey Cup in 14th year playing with the BC Lions. And I put one helmet in their hand. I have them put their hands out like this. I put the one helmet, and it weighs about 2 or 3 pounds. It's almost a plastic with the padding against the thing. So it's like this, right? And the other helmet is air-conditioned, air-blown-up pads, and you blow it up from 4 or 5 different areas, and the holes in it to spread the concussion and everything else. One weighs 2 pounds, the other one weighs 8 pounds. So even in my playing career, the protection that we had for our heads was dramatic. It was like going from the horse-drawn carriage to the space age. And even now, the helmets they're probably better. You see that hood on it and the slits. They're always looking, how do we lessen the impact? And even in practice now, they're putting padded helmets on top of the helmet because the brain takes a beating.
Yep.
I'm surprised I can put a sentence together half the time. I mean, I know guys that, it's ended their physical capabilities and mental capabilities early just because of the pounding.
We talk about the injury aspect of it, but like you mentioned, Al, you were 37 when you retired.
Right.
Mental health-wise, that's a completely different change.
Yes, it's how you're perceived, and it's how you perceive yourself. And even, I'm not saying I went through a dramatic thing because I was an offensive lineman. We're pretty low-key guys, right? And but even then, you have to get back to the basics and have something else that interests you. I had some other business interests, and so I followed them. But you have to get away, and people, and don't take this the wrong way, people always want a piece of you when you have a high profile. And after a while, you don't I had a young family then. I was coaching my kids. There's only so much you can give, then it starts pulling out of you. And I think that's another aspect that you have to learn to deal with.
True.
Who
are you looking forward to meeting the most or seeing the most this weekend?
Well, one of them sitting right over there, Bob Bana. We've been friends. He was in my wedding party since the years that we were at Montana State, and I come back to homecoming, and I've got a number of fraternity brothers that have bought tickets coming here. And, I'm proud to have been a Bobcat and everything. What really brings me back to Montana State is the people themselves, the relationships that we've built that have lasted 50 years. And there's not and you know what? We really don't even work at them. We just enjoy each other's company and say, Al, come down to homecoming. Okay. And we have a good time. And here's a compliment to all the people in Montana. There's a couple that we travel with, and we go to Europe and we go on these river cruises, and we've done 4 of them. And last year, we missed the COVID years, obviously. We went on a 2-week tour of the Danube and a bunch of other things, and about 4 days later we came down here for homecoming from Montana State, and we went through Yellowstone and saw the buffalo and everything else, and they met my fraternity brothers, and they have the trailers at the game and the whole game, and the going down to the cannery bar and just kicking it up and having a great time. They said when they went home, they didn't talk about the European trip. They talked about their trip to Montana. They says, your friends are great. I said, they're just good Montana people.
Yeah, yep.
And so be proud of that. You're just good Montana people.
Well, we appreciate that. Before I let you go, I know Jan Stenerud is really looking forward to meeting you.
He is. I would like to meet him too, because I talk about him. I've never met Jan. I heard about
what he
him.
said, yeah.
I've never met him. And his story was he was a skier, wasn't he?
Yep.
And someone caught him kicking footballs in the spring, and the coach said, come over here. And I think, isn't Jan the first long-distance kicker in the NFL?
He was the only true kicker in the NFL Hall of Fame for a long time.
Okay, yeah, and he earned that. And we had Orvin Torp after him, and he was a skier too. But no, I'd love to meet Jan.
Yeah, well, he'll be around.
Perfect.
We're probably not going to see you golfing based on the story you told me.
I am the world's worst golfer.
Real quick, tell us the story you told me before.
About the golfing?
Yeah, you're golf pro.
Yeah, golf. Well, as my status as a BC Lion, you get invited to these celebrity golf tournaments, and you go. A lot of times, you get paired up with a golf pro, and you're out there playing. And most golf pros are there watching you. Say, you ask for some tips, and they show you, turn your hands this wrist, don't pull it back so far, and whatnot. And I was playing in one tournament one time, and I was with the golf pro of of the club, and I asked him after about 4 or 5 holes, and I said, well, you're not giving me any tips. And he says, you do so many things wrong, I can't help you. That's how good I am at golf.
That is fantastic. Hey, appreciate the time.
I love it. Thank
Go
you.
back and grab a cat nap.
Yes, I need to. Well, I got it now on your couch.
Okay. Well,
I mean, hey, I got a complaint. First complaint.
Uh-oh.
Jan's got his room.
I know.
I'm sitting here waiting for a room.
Al's already complained to the front desk staff. It's not their fault.
No, I know. They can't. They said they can't override the system until the cleaners actually give them the computer. So somebody back there is controlling my life.
Well, she's sitting over there on the couch.
Yeah.
Well,
45 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Hey, congrats on the induction, and looking forward to hearing some more stories this weekend from you.
Will be fun.
That
Thank
is
you.
Al Wilson, everybody. Montana State Bobcat.
Yeah, Montana State, not UM.
We got a Grizz over there.
And he's smiling. He has the same hate for me.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think he ever lost to the Cats.
Yeah, probably not.
Did you? No, I don't remember that. You don't remember?
Even if I did, I wouldn't remember that. Smart man.
Yes, exactly. Al, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yep.
My pleasure.
Dallas, why don't you come on over? We'll just keep the guests flowing here. We are live in Billings Hotel and Convention Center, the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame induction ceremony weekend. Dallas Neal now joining us. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I don't remember if I got to talk to you when I was working in Great Falls or not. I'd probably not. That would have been early 2000s.
You know, I graduated college in 99, 2000.
Yep.
So I was kind of focused on that next phase.
Yeah, you had a pretty good next phase after that.
Yeah.
But Great Falls product, go to the Grizz, but high school days, what were those like for you?
High school days, I lived a block away from Great Falls High. So, gosh, I can remember sneaking under that fence, throwing the football over the gate in a Memorial Stadium and sneaking under that dirt, digging it out, making sure I didn't get scratched on the way in, and just playing around there. I loved it. I played for Dale Poley and Dennis Renning and just had a great crew, and, you know, we had a good time.
Oh, yeah. How many times did you beat CMR?
We beat them my senior year, and that's
Okay.
the one that matters.
That's absolutely. It's the latest one. But what a great state. I talk about great stadiums in Montana and high school stadiums. Forget Cats, forget Grizz for a sec. But Memorial Stadium, Naranchi Stadium, two of my all-time favorites to go to and broadcast a game from. Memorial is the view, and even in Butte, you get the view of the school. It's just gorgeous, and I love Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, it feels like high school football.
Right.
It just, you can see the school in the background. The senior stairs are right behind it, and you just kind of walk down in there, and it's its own world. And
It is.
That's what's fun about it, is it feels like you're in your own place, and even the track meets there are amazing. They got,
Yes.
I mean, it's just a great venue.
Then how did you end up with the Grizz?
Grizz was not on my radar.
Really?
So my dad was a Bobcat, my mom's a Bobcat, my uncle's a Bobcat, my aunt's a Bobcat.
At least you can say Bobcat.
My
Bobby
si-
Houck won.
No, I don't. No, I grew up with a cat logo on everything. So my sister went there, and my brother-in-law went there. So everybody's gone there. So the Grizz weren't really on my radar. I had my top 10 schools, and I was getting some hard looks from Notre Dame as a punter. And that was my pick. I wanted to go there. I had the grades to do it, and they decided to wait a year to take somebody. And then it just seemed like they kept unraveling one at a time. And I felt like my opportunity was with my leg. I wanted to play tight end and do some other things, but my leg was what was going to get me someplace. And so the Grizz offered me a full ride just to punt. And it was really hard to turn down.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
And so I just kind of closed my eyes and said, we're going to try this out, and went for it.
It worked.
It was dumb luck. Yeah. It was, because I walked into a national championship. I'm punting as a freshman in a national championship game, and we win it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You never lost to the Cats, by the way.
No, I think we were probably up there around 14, 15, or 16.
It was pretty close, yeah, because
Yeah.
I think they ended it in 02. I was doing PA announcing 97, Chris Hepner hits the field goal to win it.
That's right.
Yep. All right,
Yeah.
Bobcats take the lead with like 40 seconds left.
Yep.
And a phantom pass interference call that I still haven't seen on TV that set up the game-winning field goal.
Yes, definitely. I mean, of course, I saw it from the sidelines.
Oh, yeah, you were
saw it,
throwing the flag.
But yes, definitely. And it's interesting because my memories of the Bobcat Grizz game are so mixed. One of my best friends, Rob Compson, was a quarterback,
Yep.
and so you always like competed to win, but there was always some mixed feelings because your buddies, it was.
You're the only Grizz I've ever met that would say that.
It was just different for me. It was different for me.
You are my all-time favorite Grizz now. And I don't say that a lot.
Well, I mean, I grew up on both sides. I just grew up on the other side. So it's almost like, it's like the North fighting the South or something.
Well, what was the family's reaction when you decided to go to Missoula?
So my uncle is going to show up here for the Hall of Fame ceremony, but I think it was my last year before he ever watched me play college ball.
Wow.
It took a while. It took a while to mold the soreness off, but I catch a lot of grief for it in my circle, but we're all friends.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a game, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you still have the
division. It's a super fun game.
Okay, so I have to admit, I went to Washington Grizzly Stadium 2 years ago for the first time. Had never stepped foot in there. Went to a playoff game. And I was walking around. I'm like, well, I can see the allure of this place. It's, they did it right. But had I not been at Auburn 2 weeks before and saw a real football stadium,
right,
that I might have been more impressed. But they did a good job over there. I will say that in Missoula.
Well, I mean, once again,
it's like a little bit like Memorial, like crowds, right?
Yeah. It's sunk in. You've got the backdrop. And then once it starts to light up, it can get really loud in there.
Yeah. And
that's a home field advantage. That's all you're looking for is a home field advantage. Dornblazer, when they used to play there was just no home field advantage. Right. So you got to – it's an element of the game, and I'm thankful that I walked into something that was that nice because it was really nice.
You go from Memorial to then Washington. Yeah, it's not a bad step.
I was never complaining.
No. Punters and kickers are treated a little bit differently.
Correct.
What was it like for you in college and then at the next level?
So Andy Larson was the kicker, and they called him the geeker, like a geek, and it's just, everybody just likes to take a jab at the kicker or the punter. So I always had a little bit of an angle because I did play special teams going into my sophomore and junior and senior year, and then I ended up playing tight end. And then when I was in the NFL, I was playing halfback too. Mm-hmm. So honestly, by the time I was in the NFL, I was probably around 250 pounds, and I was pretty big. So I looked more like a halfback than I did a punter. But the reputation is not good. I think it's more on the kicker side now than it is on the punter side.
Yes. Is it nerving to know at the NFL level, if I miss a kick or if I shank a punt, I could be out of a job tomorrow?
Oh, that's exactly what it is. You have to know who you are so deeply. You have to have already dealt with your fear of failure. You have to have already failed in your mind and gotten over it, or else you can't do it. Because you'll be worried about what other people... You have to go out there as if you don't care.
Okay.
And that's a very difficult thing to do because you care so much. Your entire livelihood's on the line, whether it's a drop ball or whether it's a punt that doesn't go right. I mean, even if the coach tells you he wants you to hit it in a certain zone and you don't hit it in a certain zone, in preseason, that's enough to call it. It's very tight. And there's so many people lined up ready to go.
Yeah.
So you've got your shot, you need to hit it, and you need to not care. And that's a very hard thing as you're graduating into the elite level to learn.
That's interesting. As we talked to Dallas Neal, 2023 Montana Football Hall of Fame inductee. What was that phone call like when Rick called and said, hey, you're going in this year?
It was pretty overwhelming because you almost feel like at times you're like, gosh, am I worthy of such a thing? But, then you also look at my passion and my love of my entire life was making contributions to football in the communities that were there. And so, a lot of my story revolves around that. It's, I didn't have to make it to the Pro Bowl to be, eligible. This is about Montana and the contributions you make to Montana and Montana football. And so there was a lot of people who paved some way to make it look real nice for me. So pretty thankful.
Do you think there's, being from Montana and being now in the Montana Football Hall of Fame, I mean, we talked to Al Wilson, he's from Canada, and I know it means a lot, but is it different being from Montana?
Oh, yeah. Like, I was just so excited to talk to Rick and talk about life and talk about whatever's going on. And then I have an excuse to hang out in Montana for a while. I live and work in Arizona now. So I was like, this is a community that I love. This is a fraternity of people that care a lot about each other.
Dallas Neal joining us here, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline, and the Off the Wall Advertising Man Cave. Who are you looking forward to meeting the most?
Ooh. That's a tough one. Because honestly, there's so many people here that I've never met. You're from there. There's people that are here that are from just different eras.
Sure.
So I'm looking forward to going out and golfing and going out and mixing up and just meeting a bunch of different people that have stories like mine. It's kind of like you show up and you meet some people and it's like you almost feel like you're brothers. Because it just not a lot of people end up towing that line in that same way.
Sure. I've told people this before, but one of my favorite moments of coming down here the last few years was last year, just sitting with Steve Okanowski, Jan Stenerud, guys like that, the old timers, the stories that'll never be repeated.
Right.
But just hearing those stories, and to me, that's the best part of this entire weekend.
Absolutely.
And you have your own, but they're not, they're recent. They're not 40 years, 50 years ago.
Right.
It's crazy, and it's so much fun, and you learn so much about the human, not just the star.
Yeah, I mean the game's changed a ton, but the heart of the player is the same.
Right.
You want to compete, and you also it challenges you beyond what you're capable of, and you recognize that.
Yeah. All right. I gotta ask you this. Last year we saw DeMar Hamlin go down on the field.
Right.
And it's heart issue, whatever. What was your first thought when you saw that?
My first thought was, this is unprecedented. This has never happened. I've seen broken necks. I've seen different things happen, but this is I've never seen anything like that. So I was just literally in shock, because this just doesn't happen on a football field. Right. So honestly, it just took a lot to process. Like, is that possible? Is it possible again?
Well, it is quite scary to think about. And he's now fully cleared to practice again.
It really?
Yeah, that came out last week or a week before, I think. So.
Well, congratulations to him. That would be, honestly, if it was you and if it was me, we'd probably say, let's go practice again. But for everybody else looking from the outside, they're like, what are you thinking?
That's true. That's true.
Like, what are you thinking?
All right, you got to play in the NFL. You got to go to these stadiums. Favorite stadium you got to go to?
Home turf. Now, NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, let me run down the NFL because this is fun.
Okay. These are the stories I like.
Yeah. Okay. So, worst place to play, Oakland.
Okay.
The first thing you do when you go to Oakland, so that guy with the spikes, when I was playing, those were real metal spikes, on his shoulders and stuff like that. And I'm like, I thought they were fake. You thought they were foam. No, so there's a line when I played on Oakland, when you run out on the field, it's like 15 to 20 yards away, that they keep the players because the fans throw stuff at them. So
it's like going to Butte.
Yeah, it's like Butte with black and gray. So second worst place to play, Philly.
Oh, okay.
And so when I played in Philly, they had turf, but it was concrete with the little carpet on top. It hurts so bad to fall. And then Philly hates you, but they also hate Philly.
Right.
They just hate everybody. And so it's just kind of like an atmosphere where, like, we're supposed to be having fun, right? But they're just yelling at everybody. So, two worst places to play.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, but I mean, honestly, one of my greatest memories was just playing in St. Louis and seeing the arch. Like, one of the things as an NFL player is you may not have traveled. You're 23 years old, and you get to go to San Francisco. And they always give you, like, a half day to, like, just look around. So some of my best things were like, man, I got to see the sights for free.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the stadiums, and in the NFL, the big change is the cameras. Like, you play in college, you see a few cameras, but in the NFL, like, it's always cameras everywhere all the time, lights in your face all the time. So you just have to get used to tuning everything out.
Sure.
So it's a big difference.
Okay. Favorite moment in the NFL?
It's gonna be twofold.
Okay.
So I played for Dan Reeves, the late Dan Reeves. He passed away about a year or so ago, and great coach. We were playing tap at practice. So you run through the line, you have your pads on, but you're just tapping. You're trying not to hit too hard. And I was a rookie, and I was a free agent, and I was a walk-on. There's 110 guys. I'm trying to get that 53rd spot. So I'm sprinting as hard as I could down the line, and I see Gerald McBurrows, the safety, coming across, but we're playing tap, which means you tag him on the hip. He hit me right under the chin so hard that I went down, and I didn't know what happened, and I didn't know what was going on. And Dan Reed, he stood over the top of me, and he's like, son, this is the NFL. You got to protect yourself. And I'm like, and then, so my coach, the halfbacks coach, kind of wouldn't put me in anymore because I was kind of getting creamed a little bit.
Oh, the great Montana boy.
And I was undersized. So we're in Tokyo playing the Cowboys in an exhibition game, and the first team fullback, he has a concussion. He can't play. Second team fullback has a hamstring pull. Coach Reeves screams to the back, put the backup in. My coach, who I'm standing next to, says, we don't have a backup. Most demoralizing moment. I'm like, I just flew to Tokyo 16 hours, and he's not going to put me in. And this is exactly how it went down. Coach Reeves says, well, put Neil in then. And he goes, you can't be serious. And Coach Reeves grabs me by the face mask, says, get in the game. And so I go in the game, and I hadn't practiced. I knew all the plays, but I hadn't practiced them very much. And the first play, they run me on a little flat route, and I got to use my receiving skills and some of the other skills that you can't in practice hit somebody below the waist. You can't in practice do a lot of the things that you can do in the game. And boom, I'm down the sidelines running, and all of a sudden, Coach Reeves, he's like, I like what I see, son.
Nice.
And he's the one who gave me that 53rd spot.
That's awesome.
He personally gave me a shot to win a job on that team, and he gave me 2 years to do it, and that was like a gift.
Yeah.
Because I was undersized, I wasn't ready, and I was punting in the NFL too. And he said, and so they had me gain a pound a week for 20 weeks until I was heavy enough to do some damage, and it was $250 a pound if I didn't make it on Friday.
Oh, jeez.
And then it doubled the week after that. So it got expensive if I missed weight.
Yeah.
So it was always orange juice on Friday morning. And once I was big enough to play, it was go time. But I was 20 pounds too light when I came in, and I didn't realize it.
So at 250, standing back there, you look like Sebastian Janikowski a little bit.
Thank you.
Maybe in better shape.
I didn't know how to take that.
I mean it in a loving way.
But yes. Yeah, but, when I came into the NFL, I could probably run maybe like a 4.7, and I was 210, 212. And they trained me with Olympic sprint coaches. They trained me to get bigger. When I was about 245, I was running close to a 4.4.
Wow.
So my frame, he saw it, but he's like, there's a lot left in the tank there. And I had just never been trained like that. I had just never spent my entire life training. I always thought I was going to be a punter. And so but what happened in practice was I was just punting, and they needed somebody to run routes. And you're bored. So I'm running routes. And a month later, Coach Reeves said, put some pads on, son. I want to see what you can do. You haven't dropped a ball in 2 months. That's how I got a shot to play tight end in the NFL.
That's Montana tough.
I did not go there. I went there to punt,
Yeah.
but I just said, yeah, I'm available. And that's how it went down.
That's, and I know Coach Reeves has always appreciated that about the undersized, the last guy on the totem pole, so to speak. But you're going to go in and you're going to work your tail off.
Yeah,
I think that has a lot to do with the Montanan.
It does. Ken Staninger, who was my agent, said that. He's like, I can get you into a training camp. And he said, I can get Montana kids into training camps because they know they'll work hard and they know it won't be a waste of time. But you got to win a job.
Yeah, it's up to you.
And so it was kind of cool because I was able to get into a training camp. It's very hard to get one of those 110 spots when I was playing.
Yeah, because you didn't go to the combine. There was none of that.
No, the last game of my senior year, I didn't know I had a stress fracture, and I thought it was a pulled muscle. And in warm-ups, when I was punting, I snapped it in half. And I didn't tell anybody. I did not tell a soul because I knew I was – and so I didn't get invited to the combine. I laid low, and then I tried to wait until it healed to get tryouts.
So when you see a guy like Troy Anderson, and the talk – from freshman year on was this is the best linebacker playing quarterback or running back in college football right now. Mm-hmm. But when you see a guy like Troy succeed or Samari Torre or any of these cats and Grizz that have made it, how proud of you are that being from, a Montana connection?
I just have an appreciation for kind of what a freak they are, what they're willing, like I know the level of which they have to play at to be there, and it's so far beyond what even a college level is, and so it's just like, wow, there's something going on there that is truly, truly special.
I've talked to people that go to NFL games, and they're like, you go to a Cat Grizz game, you go to an SEC game, the difference in speed and size, but then you get to the NFL, and it's next level. Like Rock Gullick's had talked about it last year was. Yeah. Explain. Go talk to me about that a little bit.
So I'm 210. I walk into the locker room. Everybody's got their shirts off or whatever. I thought everybody in that locker room was doing steroids. I'm like I am so intimidated right now. As I'm walking through the process with these guys, I get to know them years and years and years. I played 3 years for the Falcons, which is actually a long time to play for one team.
Yeah.
But as a 53rd man, but none of them did. None of them used steroids. Right. None of them did anything. Some of them were just born that way, and some of them just worked their tails off. But it was so far beyond what I had ever seen that I had some growing up to do, and I had to grow up real fast.
Yeah. This brings me to my next question, the mental health symposium coming up on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Al talked about it a little bit, the difference from, with the helmets and all of that. We talk a lot about CTE, but you said you're a 23-year-old kid that weighs 210 pounds going into a locker room full of men. Mm-hmm. Mentally, you have to overcome that just to get onto the field. And there's a lot of mental health that, like I told with Al is, we see these guys at college or the NFL like, oh, they're superstars. They're awesome. But they're dealing with the same stuff we are.
Yep.
How much of a change mentally did you have to make?
You either make the change or you die in so many ways inside. My roommate in training camp, he was the best receiver in Division II football, broke all the records. He got released towards the end of training camp. And I remember him, he talked and he tried to commit suicide shortly thereafter. And it's such a thing of there's a blind spot. It's like, this is football. But you're not a failure because you get cut. But everybody around you is building you up like you're the greatest thing ever. Right. And so you feel the weight of disappointing others. And so you're disappointed in yourself because you can't please everybody else, which is a backwards idea. If you just, I remember he'd say, how do you always maintain so much peace? And I said, you got to know who you are outside of football. If you know who you are outside of football, you're going to be just fine. But you have to grow into that. And every guy that goes through that process has to go into that either when they're playing pro sports or after they play pro sports. Less painful to do it when you're playing pro sports than it is to wait until after and then have the cookies crumble.
So life is good for you then down in Arizona?
Yeah, we love it. I mean, obviously the weather's warm.
I'm trying to convince my wife to move down there,
but we love being able. So we have those flights back that are 2 hours from the Mesa airport. So just love being able to bop back and forth whenever we can. And I'm selling shade in Arizona. I build shade structures. So obviously selling shade in a sunny state is not the worst idea.
No,
so
you do have a good brain on you.
so it's all good. I have a 4-month-old daughter.
Congratulations.
As well as and my wonderful wife Christy's amazing. But I also have 20, 18, and 16-year-old daughters.
Okay.
So I have 4 awesome daughters that are just amazing. But they big range there.
I've got a 25-year-old, 23-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So,
yeah, you're right in there.
So I know. Okay, hardest hit you ever took?
Actually, the hardest hit I ever took was in practice against our own team, which is the most disappointing. It was the most disappointing moment of my career. We were running the same play over and over and again, and I'm not going to name the linebacker's name, but he knew what play we were running, and he lowered his shoulder and hit me and dislocated 3 of my ribs, and I had to play through it. And they never kind of went back in place right. It always has. It's taken me a lot of physical therapy.
Oh, man.
And it's I think the thing that hurt the most was I just got taken out by my own guy. It's like being shot in a foxhole by your own. Yeah. And I think that was one of the things that was the hardest about being in that NFL competition was you're beating up your own team. And I think they've dialed that way down to where you're not. But like to get affirmation from my own tight ends coach, he liked me to pick a fight with the DNs. And he didn't really like me, so that was kind of my only shot.
Okay.
So
you had some coaches that did not like you.
It was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag.
Your halfback coach doesn't want to put you in Tokyo. Your tight ends coach doesn't like you.
Well, you have a pedigree. So if you're a second-round draft pick, if you're a first-round draft pick, in the NFL there's a pedigree. Yeah. And they invest in the pedigree priority. So only the big dogs can tell you to invest in something else. The general manager, the director of pro personnel, the owner. But it's kind of understood that you cater towards who you put money into. That's who you want to rise up. So even if you're better than the guy that they've put money into, you have a lot to overcome because they've made an investment and they don't want to look bad. Right. So it's kind of like they're willing to have a few blind spots to get there.
Makes sense.
You see it happen.
Oh, all the time in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
Yep. Hey, appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Enjoy
much.
the weekend. It is a blast. And the VIP thing tomorrow night is super cool. The obviously the golf tournament. What's your handicap?
So
you live in Arizona. You golf all the time.
So my handicap, let's just say maybe like 1 over, like that. But I brought in my ringer. So my best friend from college, his son is the number 5 player in the world at 14 years. So he's who I'm playing with. So
we don't have a chance.
So now everybody knows, but I was trying to keep that under the radar for a little while. So.
Oh, man. Okay, so Jan and I don't have a chance tomorrow.
We're not taking any of my shots. If it's a scramble, I'll hit it.
Oh, man. Hey, congratulations.
Hey, thank you. Cool. Thank you for inviting me on here, too. And thank you. I do want to say thank you. There's a community out there that invests a lot, and I feel like me and a lot of other players get the benefit. And so, yes, we did play, but there's a lot of investment from a lot of people, and they know who they are. And there's a lot of kudos to that. And I know they try and do that with the Hall of Fame to get the unsung heroes, the support staff, and things like that. But, I can just say to those that were out there during my tenure, you made it fun. That's who made it fun.
Yep, yeah, definitely. Enjoy the weekend with the family.
Thank you.
Go Cats.
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt you. You're the only one. This is why you're – yeah. He's my new favorite Grizz. Ryan Featherston has nothing on you now. Feathers kid and my kid go to the same daycares.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He needs a haircut, but he's a great guy. Have fun this weekend. We'll see you on the golf course tomorrow.
Okay, sounds
all right,
good.
Thank you, Dallas.
Thank you.
Dallas Neal, 2023 Montana Football Hall of Fame inductee. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Alex Eshelman joins us next. Jason Walker Show. Hang on.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Ruckers Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Ruckers, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Ruckers Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
I'm Brent Vegan, head football coach at Montana State. And this year at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame, we're doing more than just celebrating our very best. On Saturday, June 24th at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center, there will be a Speak Up Student-Athlete Mental Health Symposium from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Prominent figures throughout Montana, such as Jim O'Day and Tommy Malott, will offer discussion and collaboration on how to better the mental health of our student athletes. After 3 Hall of Famers spoke up about their own mental health last year, it became apparent that we prioritize this topic at the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. Please join us on Saturday, June 24th, and for more information, go to the website mtfootballhof.com.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Ah, summer. A time to work in the yard and get all those projects that you've been thinking about all winter done. And when you've had enough, go to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar to cool off, relax, laugh a little, or a lot, your choice. Have a drink and play your favorite games. There's plenty of new games and your old favorites. Now, if you don't want to work hard and the relaxing part sounds the best to you, then just head over to Lucky Duck Casino and Bar on Dredge behind Jade Restaurant. Happy summer, everyone.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. This segment brought to you by Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino. Stop in, hot games, warm staff, cool drinks. Drink and gamble responsibly. Had a lot of fun so far, and the fun continues here on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, live in Billings. At the Billings Hotel and Convention Center, it is Hall of Fame induction weekend for the Montana Football Hall of Fame. Another great class going in, and to talk about that and much, much more is our favorite girl from the Big Sky Conference, young lady, I guess. Her name is Alex Eshelman. It's been a while since we've chatted with her. I caught up with her yesterday. Here's our chat on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline, Jason Walker Show.
All right. It seems like forever since we have had her on the show, but she is back. Her name is Alex Eshelman. She left us in January, but for the big time, and now she's back with us. She didn't forget us like we thought she would. But how are you?
I would never forget you or any of the Montanans, Jason. You guys are the best. I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. You know, having fun with the show and the new radio station, and it's great. And golfing a lot. And I know we're going to talk some golf here in a little bit. But how's the new job? I mean, you've been busy. You started in January down there in Utah, and all of a sudden you're everywhere. You're at championships. You're at games. You're talking to Damian Lillard the other day. I mean, life has to be really good for Alex Eshelman.
Life is always good. Life is always good. We're here, we're alive, we're breathing, and we're going. But first of all, I just have to say, I'm happy that you said you've been practicing your golf skills, because I have not hit the range. I have not hit the course. Full disclosure, all summer long yet. That is not good for our group. Comes Friday. However, it's okay. We have you, and you're going to be carrying the load there.
Well, I'm going to try, but the guy that we get to golf with, Jan Stenerud, is really going to be carrying the load. And
the best, the silver fox of all silver foxes.
I called you a few weeks ago because I had set this up with Lynn Greenberg with the Montana Football Hall of Fame, and she goes, "Are you golfing?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Alex has to be on my team," and she goes, "Okay. I'm going to put you guys with Jan. You guys okay with that?" And I'm like, "I know I am, and I know for sure that Alex will be." So you were shocked when I called you and told you the news.
Well, I was shocked because when I first told my dad almost a year ago, when I did the first Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame with you, I told him that I had met Jan Stenerud, and he screamed. He said, "Oh my God, I had cards of his signed cards, or I don't know if they were signed or not. I think he would have liked them to be signed. But that was one of his all-time favorite NFL players growing up as a kid. So he was equally as excited as he was jealous of me, and hopefully I can bring him to one of the Pro Football Hall of Fames at one point when Jan is there so they can meet. But anyway, life is good. Job is good. You're right. I have been going all over the place. Yes, Damian Lillard, the Alumni Classic at Weber State was so cool. And just being able to see how much he means to the city of Ogden and Weber State. You know, Jason, when I was in Bozeman, I was obviously all about Montana State, and I still very much am, but it's so refreshing and fun, and a good challenge for me to be all about Montana State and all about Montana and all about Weber State, Idaho, Sacramento State, UC Davis, the list goes on, Idaho State. So it's been great. It's been a great, fun, exciting challenge, and the Salt Lake area is beautiful. I really like it.
I'm super happy for you as we talk to the director of Big Sky Broadcast and Digital Media, Alex Eshelman. That's a pretty cool title, by the way.
I know it's a big title. I don't know if I live up to that title, but I appreciate it.
What's it like working with the group in the Big Sky office? I mean, Tom, the commissioner, and then you've got John Casper. You've got some great people that have been with the Big Sky Conference a long time that have really elevated the Big Sky.
Absolutely. And you just said it best. They have not only elevated the Big Sky, but they've elevated me professionally. I've learned so much from our communications team between Tyson, Bryson, Walker, Autumn. They've really pushed me to challenge myself and think outside the box and get creative with certain things. And they've educated me on all of the schools that I'm now covering. And then you have, the executive side of things with Tom Wistrcill, our wonderful commissioner, and Dan Satter, our deputy commissioner, John Casper, like the fan favorite of Big Sky, who brings so much life into our office. And then, we have Tyler and Alana, and it's a great group. And I think that they've brought the Big Sky to where it is now, and I'm excited to be a part of it and just continue to elevate it into this next school year.
You're going to be busy this summer because you're going to be in Billings, and then in a month you'll be in Spokane, Big Sky Media Days. Planning for that, I know, started last year, but how cool is it to be on the other side of it, planning instead of just being the media person for SWX? Like, okay, I got to get this interview, but now you're setting up everything.
It's cool, but to your point, Jason, it's a lot of work, and I've learned so much of what goes into putting on a production like the Big Sky Kickoff. And I'm not kidding. Like, this is a blue-collared conference. Like, everybody in this office, hands on deck. It does not matter what your position is. Everyone is working together to make sure that not only the Big Sky Kickoff is put on, but it's put on in the best way possible. And the number one thing that everyone is always talking about within the office is what is going to give the best experience for our student athletes and for our coaches and for the fans who are watching. I mean, it's really amazing to see everybody have such a selfless mindset and have the forefront, the most important thought and goal in mind is to make sure that our people are having the best experience possible. Especially, you know, of course, this is their summer. This is the football players and coaches' summer, and it's right before the start of the season, and it's a very demanding job when they're in season, and it's a demanding job when they're out of season.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that they're, you know, the few weekends out of the summer that they have, they're dedicating this time to us, so we're dedicating that time to them.
Well, they've done such a great job, the Big Sky, over the past however long it's been going on with media days and the kickoff. It went from, you know, Park City out to Spokane, and I'm not going to be able to make it this year. I'm bummed because it's the same weekend as the Disabled American Vets Tournament here in Helena, and I gotta, I'm sponsoring that, and I gotta play in it. So I'll miss you. But I get to see you this weekend, and that's why you're on. Alex Eshelman joining us, Mike Miller, State Farm Hotline. I'm so excited. It'll be our second year doing the red carpet event before the big banquet Saturday night, but it's going to be. I
have to ask, what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
I don't know yet.
Of course you don't know. Of course.
Well, now I'm different.
I planned for weeks.
I'm different than. Okay, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a kind of like a tan dress with black heels. So really, you can rock any color because I'm going neutral.
Okay, I'm thinking black suit. I haven't decided. Well, my wife ruined my good white dress shirt, one of them. She wore it to a murder mystery night, and then she washed it with something red, and so now my white shirt is pink.
Hey, you know what? You have to own a pink dress shirt as well. So
I do have a couple of those. In fact, I wore one a few weeks ago. I had a pink shirt on with like a not salmon, but pink and gray tie.
We love pink, Jason. We love pink.
I rock. Maybe I'll go with the pink this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
You can wear whatever you want. You will match me regardless.
That's true. Well, in some ways, but not always, because Alex Eshelman is the best. But Saturday, the Mental Health Symposium, we probably won't attend, but that's a big deal for the Montana Football Hall of Fame to put this on and you deal with it in the Big Sky with student athlete and mental health awareness. And, we heard it last year with, Brent Vegan talked about it. Bobby Hawk talked about it in the commercials, but, Dane Fletcher, Robert Dorr, a couple others that spoke up about mental health. It's a big deal in sports.
It's such a big deal. And I will never forget sitting there for my first Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame with you and listening to Dane and Robert talk about their mental health journeys. And there's something so beautiful and eye-opening, and just there's such a strength to being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. And I think that Dane and Robert's speeches were so inspiring in that way, because you look at them and they're these big, athletic, strong looking guys. But for them to be able to go up to a podium in front of hundreds of people and say, hey, I struggled with this. This was not a cookie cutter experience, walk through the park type of journey. This was really, really difficult for me. And for them to be able to trust us with that and open up and say to kids that might be going through the same experience, like, hey, you're not alone and I'm here for you. That's what being a good human's all about, you know? And I think that Montanans are top notch, some of the best humans out there. And for Rick and for the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame committee to recognize what they talked about and jump on it and want to grow that conversation. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. So I hope we can make it. I mean, I know that Tommy Malot's going to be a part of that. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to forget or remember some of the other names, but
Jim O'Day is going to be there.
Jim's going to be a part of that. And I hope we can make it.
Yeah. If we're not golfing again, because Sean might get us out on the golf course again. Who knows?
Well, actually, unfortunately, I did talk to Sean. He won't be there because the Cranies are the same weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a bummer. I know.
Coulter won't be there.
But Cranies are in Billings. So we'll probably, I mean, who knows? We might see him.
Oh, I'm sure he'll stop by the hotel and convention center to.
I sure hope so. I sure hope everybody stops by.
They will. Red carpet. Yeah, I know you've been doing your homework on top of your real job, but this is another great class going in. Mike Person, Colt Anderson, Dallas Neal, Lynn Ahrens, Dan Rambo, Sonny Holland, Alan Reynolds. I mean, this is a great, great list of people that we're inducting on Saturday night.
This is the girl in me, loving fashion, but I'm really excited to talk to Colt Anderson about Up Top Clothing.
Ooh.
That I want to hear all about that journey. And just in general, I mean, he reminds me of Tommy Malott in the sense that he is now a Butte, America famous Montanan. Not now, I mean, far, far before Tommy, I should say. But the fact that he's so involved, he's an owner of the Mo Club, which obviously we all know is a legendary bar in Montana, founder of Up Top Clothing. He runs a great, children's organization with his wife and family. That's one that I'm really excited to talk to. But really all of them. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know 100%, but I do think some of Sonny's, Coach Holland's family is going to be there. Yep. And I hope that they are, because that's a legend of all Montana legends right there, Sonny Holland.
Yes, 100%. What did you learn? Well, I'll probably ask you this again Saturday, but what did you learn about this year's inductees that really stood out to you?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I loved the selection in the sense that it covered a lot of different parts of Montana. I mean, we've got a Glendive native, we've got a Great Falls native, we've got Billings, I think that we covered a lot of different parts, and I think that the committee's always done a good job of that in making sure that you recognize somebody from Butte, somebody who's a Grizz grad, somebody who's a Bobcat, and then people who might have not gone to either of those schools, but made it in some other form or fashion, maybe within the CFL or I think that there's a great range and a lot of diversity within this group. What did you notice?
That there's more Grizz than Cats again.
Really?
No, it's just I was actually surprised that Sonny Holland wasn't part of like one of the first couple of classes that they did. But there's so many, and
Wasn't he part of the very first class? I swear he was.
He might have been, but they're honoring him a Legend Award this year.
He was a part of the very first class because I want to say it started in 2016.
Yeah.
And why I know that is because I went back to watch one of his his inductee speech, and he said something that caught my attention. He said that per capita, Montana has the most NFL players to come out of any state.
Wow. That makes
I'm
sense,
like,
though.
Really? I'm going to have to double check that fact, but I hope that's true because that'd be cool.
It probably is. I mean, when you think Montana, you didn't even have 1 million people for the longest time. So that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So, anyway, go ahead. So you think that there's more Grizz than Cat? You know what?
Well, yeah, but it's okay.
You can't ask me about this anymore because I am just as much of a Grizz fan as I am a Cats fan.
Oh, she says that politically correct.
Grizz and I'm diehard Cats now, so I'm happy either way.
You are a diehard fan of all 14 schools. I get it. Would it be hard for you, real quick, before we go back to the Hall of Fame? Would it be hard for you to go work for, say, the Pac-12 and have to cover Arizona State?
No, because ironically, more of my friends are from Arizona State than they are, not more, but I do have a lot of friends who are Sun Devil grads. And you know what? Hey, they like to have a good time. The Wildcats like to have a good time. It's win or lose. We like to have a good time. So I think, no. I love the Pac-12. That's what I grew up watching before I really grew up watching the Big Sky, which is ironic because I grew up right, up the street from a Big Sky school in Sacramento State and UC Davis. But yeah, I came from a Pac-12 family, so no. But I still don't like the Sun Devils. But if I were covering them, I'd say, hey, forks up.
There you go. Alex Eshelman joining us Saturday. Yeah, we get to talk to some of the new inductees, but it was fun last year just grabbing, past inductees or current coaches and just their wives. I don't know if anybody had more fun than Marty Morningweg and his family.
I'm so happy you said Marty's name because
I saw him a couple weeks ago at a golf tournament.
He was so fun. He'll actually be at Big Sky Kickoff.
Fun.
Yes. And I just ran into Ty Gregorak, actually so weird. I was in Missoula for a friend's birthday and I walk out of a hotel. He's walking into the hotel with his family. I'm like, hey, how are you? And we caught up and he'll be at kickoff. So that's exciting. But yes, Marty was spectacular. My favorite was having Dane Fletcher and Bob, his dad, on. And Dane goes, Alex, I just found out within a matter of hours that my dad used to call games on the radio. Yes. And I asked him what his favorite game that he called was the Townsend Bulldogs going up against, oh God, I can't remember the other team, but oh my God, I'm so excited. It was so fun to do that with you. And I hope we can continue to do that and grow the red carpet even more because I think people really love it.
They did. And I think you got to see those folks in a different light. You got to see we're used to talking to coaches like Coach Vegan or Coach Hauk in a business setting, but to get them, having fun and there's no game this week that we have to focus on. And it's just out there having a good time celebrating the best of Montana. And it's so much fun for us to be there.
I agree. I think that it really is a true testament to all the great people who make up that state. I mean, it is so Grizz, Cat, whatever you are that night, it doesn't matter. It is totally about recognizing some of the best of the best. And I've always said it, but people in Montana, they just have their heads on straight. They have their priorities aligned. Obviously no one's perfect. We're all human, but when it comes to sports, they recognize that it's not about making it to the NFL or the CFL. It's about the type of person that you are when you get to that place, and whether you get there or not, it's about your work ethic and becoming a good person and treating other people correctly. So I'm just so excited to be in that room again.
I'm looking forward to the red carpet event. Are you going to be nervous Friday morning, first tee shot with Jan watching you tee off?
No, because it's a scramble, and whether I have the best shot of my life or it's terrible, here's my thing, as long as you just hit it forward, as long as you get it forward, fine.
Yep. It's just like football. Advance the ball.
Fine. And then you and Jan can pick up the slack. I just need to get it. I just need to hit the ball forward. I can't get it in the trees. It just needs to go straight.
I think I'll probably end up riding with Jan. I was looking forward to riding with you, but you're bringing your friend, and that's cool.
Well, Jan's wife is coming as well, so I don't know if she's golfing with us, but I do know that she's with us. So we'll figure it out. We can swap golf carts. We're all going to have a great time.
It's going to be a super fun time. You know what was more fun for me? And you missed out on this last year because you had to fly to a wedding early the next morning, so you had to go to bed early. But sitting around with those Hall of Famers of not only Montana, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and just hearing their stories, just sitting back and absorbing all of their stories from their playing days. Like, these guys remember everything like it was yesterday. And for me, that's probably the most fun of the weekend, is just sitting down, having a couple of drinks with these guys and not even saying a word, just listening, because you learn so much, and stories that will never be told on air. But those are the most fun, I think.
I remember you telling me about that night and how cool it was, and how much perspective you gained from that experience. Thankfully, I don't have to go to a wedding, and I don't have to go home this time around. So I will be there sitting, just listening to all the great stories.
Here's the problem. I have to leave at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning because I got to hustle back to Helena for a golf tournament the next day. But
so do I. So we're on the same page. I'm actually flying from Billings to go home for the week.
Okay.
And my flight, I'm pretty sure, is at 5 in the morning. Okay. So we're just
we'll pass each other in the lobby.
Exactly.
on Sunday morning. Before I let you go, and I know you got to run, but I got to run. But should I pull a Vegas and just stay up and drive home, or should I try to get some sleep?
Nope. I tried to do that one time and it did not go over well. I'll just say that. So don't do that. Okay. If it were me, I learned my lesson the hard way. Take it from me. Don't do it.
Okay. But those stories keep you up, and
at least get a nap in.
When Bobby Houck goes to the gas station at 2:00 in the morning to get chips for the gang hanging out in the hotel lobby telling stories, you've got to stick around.
Good man for that.
Yes. And then he left. He had like 2 chips and he took off. And him and his wife came in with this like 3 bags of grocery store chips and salsa and cheese.
That is great. Oh. Hey, you know what? They know how to keep the party going.
Oh, yes.
And salsa, that is a must.
Well, you have to. I mean, yeah, it's your go-to at any party, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Hey, safe travels to Billings on Thursday. I cannot wait to see you. We'll have to, we'll get dinner maybe Saturday night or Thursday night, or definitely drinks of the water.
We will definitely see each other. I know I'm trying to make all my rounds of seeing, if Sean and my old ABC Fox Montana gang is there. I know KBZK people, NBC Montana. Yep. So it's going to be great, Jason. I'm so excited to be back with you and doing the red carpet ceremony.
I can't wait. And that's going to be live on the Jason Walker Show channels prior to the banquet. The banquet will air on SWX, which I think is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so happy that they're doing that, because it's a huge event, and it's something that people would want to tune into. It's so interesting hearing these guys' stories.
Oh, I hope they have an edit button though. I don't know. You were on the inside at SWX because last year when
some of the bad words
when Dane told his and we can talk about this because it was in the public, but Dane told a story about Bill Belichick calling him while he's on a snowmobile, and that's really frowned upon.
You know what?
Do they have a delay at SWX?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Let's hope so.
Who cares?
Let's hope so.
Hey, safe travels. Keep up the great work with the Big Sky. I cannot wait to see you Thursday night, and it's going to be a great, fun weekend. The golf, the banquet, the symposium, the stories, the fun. It's going to be a good time. And I get to see Alex Eshelman in person for the first time since Bobcat playoff football.
The reunion is happening in a matter of days. I can't wait. Thank you for having me, Jason. I'll see you soon.
That is Alex Eshelman joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline. It's not just a bundle at your home, it's your auto, it's your life. Mike understands that. Get a hold of Mike Miller State Farm in Helena today. This is Emmy Neal making her debut on the Jason Walker Show. How adorable is she? How adorable. Your dad and I just got done talking about you. Yeah, and there's Mom. Yes. You're making your radio debut. Do you want to chat? You want to talk? Can you say something? Yeah? No? Okay. You are so cute. You are so cute. You want to wrap up the show with me? I let my little one come on all the time. So let's see here. Let's do On This Day in History. Ready for On This Day? Someday this will make sense. It is National Kissing Day. Stay away from boys. Stay away. Although I did see the cutest little 3-month-old yesterday. You guys are. His name is Grayson. Onion Rings Day. You're a ways away from Onion Rings Day. Let's see. And World Rainforest Day. All right. On this date in 1930, Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig hit 3 home runs in a 20-13 win over the Philadelphia A's. 1937, Joe Louis knocked out James J. Braddock in the 8th round at Comiskey Park for the World Heavyweight Boxing title. Joe Louis then a year later to the day. First round knockout of German Max Schmeling at Yankee Stadium. 1981, John McEnroe's famous "You Cannot Be Serious" rant at Wimbledon. 1982, Phillies infielder Pete Rose gets his 3,772nd career hit, moved past Hank Aaron into second place. 2022, Shohei Ohtani, a year ago, struck out 13 batters in a 5-0 win. What's cool about that is the night before, Ohtani had 8 RBI in one game. Pete Maravich, born on this date, 1947. Dan Weldon, born on this date, 1978. Got a chance to interview Dan Weldon at Pikes Peak International Raceway in Colorado. He passed away in 2011 in Vegas. And on this date in 1940, ooh, you'll like this one. On this date in 1940, the very first Dairy Queen restaurant opened up in Joliet, Illinois. You may never go to Joliet, Illinois, but I hope your mom and dad get you some Dairy Queen someday. And, one of my all-time favorite movies, 1955, Lady and the Tramp was released. Great Disney movie. Just saying. All right. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Oh, man, we had so much fun today. Got the golf tournament tomorrow, the VIP reception tomorrow night. Everything here at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. That'll be followed on Saturday by the Mental Health Speak Up Symposium. And then, you going to push buttons too? You can. I'm hiring. Just for you, though. And then Saturday, of course, the red carpet event here on the Jason Walker Show channels, and then also the banquet on SWX Saturday night. Want to thank Al Wilson for stopping by, Dallas Neal for stopping by, Alex Eshelman. It's going to be fun. Going to be a great weekend here in Billings. Thanks to the Billings Hotel and Convention Center for the setup for both today and for the red carpet event. Thanks to Emmy Neal for making her debut. You're awesome. And so calm. You are a sweetheart. Take care of those 3 older sisters. We'll be back on Saturday for the red carpet event. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, all of our great fans and listeners. And Off the Wall, Man Cave, On the Road. We'll do it again Saturday about 4:45 or so. You say bye? Okay. Have a great day. And we'll see you. The Jason Walker Show. There's Dad. Don't forget to listen to Continental Divide Radio, too.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited.